hello, Dr. Bill. Good morning, Monday morning to you. Columbus Day. Golly, what is
amazing. I'd like you to give an update on all the amazing technology we're working on. Of course, we have the sale on right now, and we have some tech problems with attacks on our site, so it is a little slow. So if you need a call to get the 7% savings rate, and it's going to extend another day, use the code FEAST if you're online. Otherwise, call Michelle at 888-212-8871. Now, we have, of course, the three major technology we're talking about. We have the Cell Vital mat from Dr. Fisher. I have a QRS mat, which actually I used before the show today. We have the photon sound beam, violet ray machine developed in 1893 by Nikola Tesla, that your engineer for the military actually rebuilt. It's amazing. And by the way, the research from Dr. Dan Royal has shown your cancer cell markers and recharging the cell's body can literally wipe the cancer cell markers away within 2 to 4 weeks. And then finally we have, of course, the little Magi, which is a little amazing pulse magnetic device. You can have the static magnets because it's very powerful, but also the pulse magnetic device. Use it 20 to 30 minutes a day, and you put it on the sacrum, which will recharge your body. I'd like you to give us updates on all this technology because we have a full hour today. And, of course, we also have my technology, which is the, if you go to Epigenetic frequency therapy, which is the antenna system to broadcast the dendritic frequency for the major and minor minerals to block the pollution of your home. We also can put epigenetic frequencies through that for other health conditions. That antenna system is available right now. We also are going to be soon loading up some radionic jewelry that will actually have dendritic frequencies loaded into it and other frequencies for your body to wear, actually something you could wear, because you can get, we call entrainment from radionic jewelry. We also have, of course, the Sonic Life machine, which we talk about in other shows. Sonic Life, of course, being able to generate epigenetic frequencies and specific frequencies based on blood tests and on quantum testing, and the best whole body exercise machine. So let's go through this technology of what you've been working with. Dr. Fisher is one of the premier nuclear quantum physicists dealing with this, and his father back in the nuclear age. And his latest machine is the Cell Vital mat. I'm sitting right now on a QRS mat, which is a generation just before. Some people have asked me questions about the other technology, which I say are old technology. Dr. Fisher does not support because they actually can create some sideband frequencies like the on-demand. Some of these are actually quite expensive, but they're not optimal. The QRS mat, which are now in the Cell Vital mat, are pretty amazing. Very simple to use too, very simple to operate. So let's go through all the details of the techs behind this amazing technology, Dr. Chua.
Yeah, well, thanks. I gave a presentation Friday night. It was well received in a PowerPoint presentation to a lot of practitioners and healthcare professionals. But I got to tell you, then after it was over, there was a 2-hour question and answer session in a special conference room that was packed, standing room only. They were excited about it because we talked about that the whole conference was on light therapy. Now, there's a lot happening with what's called near infrared light and how it's working on the skin of the body to produce increased nitric oxide levels
we even use the lumen photon pads, for example, for traumatic brain injury. In fact, one of the companies we work with actually has a helmet for that. And there's even a company called Neurostar that uses pulse magnetic field to reverse depression. You see the advertisement on TV, Neurostar. So they're using energetic technology and frequency therapy. What your machines do is much more advanced than that. I want you to talk about this, the Cell Vital mat with the Fibonacci frequency and the little Magi machine, which is really inexpensive. It's like under $400. And why this is so important to recharge people's bodies.
What I'm trying to explain, Dr. Bill, is when they're focusing on light therapies, and so my presentation was basically asking them to consider what exactly is light, and I referenced my uncle, my great uncle, my grandfather's brother John, who wrote a book called Exploring the Spectrum and show all about what light really is. Of course, when we see light colors as radiated in the spectrum, whether you look at a rainbow, which is light refracting through water, and then you look at you just put a quartz crystal up to the sun, you see the colors refracted. Now, so all it is it's a nanometer NM a structure. When you see from red spectrum down to the indigo, there's seven distinct colors of the rainbow that go into the nanometer. What I'm getting at is light itself, according to my physics textbook, is simply defined. The definition of light is, and I quote, electromagnetic transverse wave of energy.
Right.
That's the definition of light. Well, so what does transverse mean? Transverse means it's just a word that's saying it's rapidly moving. It's in motion. Transportation, transverse is a physics term that means it's in motion. So we measure motion by the equation, the number c, which is Latin for basically motion, movement, the word for Latin c. And so we get, of course, the main theory of relativity, energy, E, is mass of the object, mass times speed of light squared. Now, that's energy. Okay, so if you're having energy needs in the body, and light is clearly showing to be beneficial in this new research science to show that energy fields in the body and the lack thereof causing dis-ease states are tied to light pulses, light therapies. We have to determine what is light, and so I gave the basic. I said, you sometimes we can't see the forest because the trees are blocking our view, and we don't really realize what light really is. It's an electromagnetic pulse. So then I went in and explained in my PowerPoint, Dr. Bill. Okay, speed of light. We know what that is measuring. Going across the dark expanse of whatever darkness. You went to a dark cave and flicker on a light, you can see how fast that moves. It's very rapid.
Right.
So what causes light to move? What causes light to be transverse? What makes it move at such a high speed? Have you ever thought about that question, Dr. Bill?
Well, I think what we have to do is we have to understand what the void or continuum is. What's the underlying thing that's inside, quote, space? And space is not empty. One of the things I was listening to Coast to Coast Radio and listening to an astrophysicist talking about this, about dark matter. Dark matter makes up probably about 95% of the matter of the universe. And dark matter is actually, if you want to call it, elemental particles are even smaller than the elemental particles that make up atoms and nerves and matter, dark matter. I think what we have to understand that space itself has a quanta. There's if you want to call it a spacion, or basically a minimum particle of space. And what light really is basically almost like I call a cue ball effect, which one of these dark matter particles moves in response to an energetic pulse that hits it. It creates what we call the light effect. I think light is an effect caused by energy transfer from one dark matter particle or spacion to another. Does that make sense? And and that's what limits the speed of light, because of the energy transfer requires a microscopic element of time, which is why it's the speed of light is so-called limited. Now, we know that there's FTL, or faster than light travel. I happen to take care of employees working at Space Command, and we know FTL is by not only vehicles we have, because we had transferred technology from other worlds, but what we have to start understanding is everything in the physical world is light. It's actually information too. Our physical bodies are basically a hologram, and the hologram condenses into physical flesh. Just like if you put a pulse magnetic field on a plant, it'll pull more minerals in it, so it has more vitamin content and more food value. The mineral content, the talk to our genes in your little nucleoplasm is literally a pulse infrared, basically pull infrared light and a frequency of minerals that tells the ion channels let a mineral in to turn on their structural proteins and enzymes. And so that's where toxins come in. That's why my Epigenetic frequency system, which basically creates a counteractive frequency, because you have two ways of approaching electro pollution. One, you can put things like a sterilizer, which I have in my walls, or you can put up a blocking wall, or wear, like I call tinfoil hat stuff, Or number two, you can do two things. You can recharge the body, like with the Curious Mat and the Magi, because these things are like poking holes in us and making us lose energy, right? So you got to raise the energy of the cells with the Magi and the Selvino Mat and the Photon Sound Beam. And then secondly, you can add frequency, which is where the Sonic Life and where the other devices like the Pearl M Plus and the ProGens 3 and my Epigenetic frequency machine. And the Sonic Life is one of the more accurate way of actually putting the specific frequencies back in the body. And the primary thing is these frequencies are mineral frequencies that turn on to make structural proteins and enzymes. All your DNA codes for is protein and enzyme. And all an enzyme is a protein wrapped around a monatomic mineral to make or break a chemical bond. Every other chemical action in your body, every other thing in your body is based on that proteins and enzymes.
Dr. Bill, let's stay on what we were the stream I wanted to look at, please.
Right.
We want to just look at what is light. If light is electromagnetic in nature, and
right.
According to, again, we're not going into dark matter. We're not going off on these tangents, which are theoretical. They're mathematical, but they're theoretical. Haven't been proven. What is proven is what makes light move, what makes the motion, and it's a dipolar reaction. You have a standing electromagnetic wave, standing electrical wave, and a standing magnetic wave operating against each other. That causes the motion. So we got on the bottom.
Right, and that's why all of the therapies are North Pole against the body too, right? North Pole, right?
Yeah. So we have North Pole versus South Pole. That's what everything is all about as far as light is concerned.
Right.
And so we have the same thing going into magnetic. So when we look at why the body responds positively to a northern polarity, which is basically an alkaline structure, versus a southern polarity, which is basically acid. So we have acid versus alkaline. And we see that in the most basic energy equations of a battery operation. I've taken batteries apart, whether it's a 9-volt battery, whether it's a C or a D cell battery, or even a car battery. But you could be careful not to have it explode on me. But you got acid versus alkaline, and when you have that ratio out of balance, your battery doesn't hold charges any longer. You throw it away. You know, that's what a rechargeable battery is. It just puts electrical current back in and recharges that acid and alkaline ratio. That's what it's all about. Now, in health, in the body's function, what I presented at this conference was documentation of researchers in Germany, primarily, some in Italy, in Milan, Italy, showing that disease states of any and all kind, whether it's pancreatitis or pancreatic cancer or diabetes. If you have a malfunctioning pancreas, bottom line is you've got a southern polarity magnetic field off there. You've got to reverse that back to alpha.
I want you to repeat that when we come back because I can hear the bumpers real strong. So when we come back with Dr. Truott, amazing stuff. We have a full hour, lots of information we have to convey.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great-tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great-tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with you providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapies throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer, and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
And welcome back, and we have the amazing Dr. Truott. By the way, Dr. Rod is on for my show for many years. He's a brave man. He's not only a scientist of the par excellence, he worked with Linus Pauling, and he has technology we use on our website. We have, we promote a lot of stuff from Dr. True. Also, his truth-telling. He was an ex-Mormon. He knows a lot about the dark side, and believe me, I had some dark side exposure this morning. I had 3 major things happen to me that told me that the devil's not happy and his minions with Deagle. And I know your website was attacked. We'll get into that later on the program, but I want people to understand our physical bodies are being attacked. Now, I know there's a big argument over whether we're going to elect Trump or not. And I got to tell you, I'm very concerned about Donald Trump. I mean, the dark side in terms of Democrats, I call demon rats, they're in your face out of their mind, crazy, demonically, killing babies right at the moment of delivery, want socialized communism, want totalitarian control and forced vaccines. But while this is going on, people need to realize 5G network is coming on. 5G network is, excuse me, extremely dangerous. suffer electral pollution. Smart meters, if you put a cell phone inside of your head, you got 300% increased risk of getting a astroglioma of a tumor of the brain.
Hello?
So, Dr. Drew, I'd like you to talk about electral pollution and how your machines can counteract it. Because the Magi machine, the photon sound beam, and the Celvito, how does it work?
Well, simply that, as we were discussing in the first segment, Dr. Bill, we have to understand what the electromagnetic wave is and how it corresponds to health of the body. And I go back to the naturopathic worldview, which I was trained by Dr. Pauling and others out of Germany, the Dresden, incredible hospital city of Dresden, Germany, which was firebombed at the tail end of World War II. No military targets there. It was all hospital, hospice type of beneficiary. To have that thing bombed and incendiary bombs was absolutely criminal. But that's another topic. But anyway, the naturopathic view is simply take care of the terrain, strengthen the body. In other words, make sure your white blood cells are in balance, make sure your macrophage and stem cells are all working through the bone marrow. And you know what? You don't have to worry about cancer because it's going to take care of. You're going to be healthy. You're not going to get cancer. If your terrain is working correctly and powerfully so, don't worry about this electro smog because it's not going to harm you. It's going to make it be like a bulletproof vest on you. So that's what I've been focusing on, Dr. Bill. It's like this. You walk down the trail of a hiking, and if you're an ignoramus, not knowing much of anything, you see a dead deer there, and you look closer at it. What causes deer to die? And you see that it's full of these little white bugs. Well, if you're an ignoramus, not knowing any better, you're going to think, oh, these white bugs killed this poor deer. And you see it more than once, you're going to get the theory that this white bug disease is causing these deer to die. No, the reality is the deer was killed first, died, and then these opportunists came in and took advantage of the dead meat. Now, that's an extreme example, but it's the same way with electro smog, electro pollution, and any disease state. If your body is strong and healthy and vibrant, correctly so, don't worry about all these other things. And that's what I addressed to this conference. These people were really into mapping out rife, so-called rife frequencies to kill viruses, bacteria, pathogens. And the manual they were studying, having to certify on, was like 5 inches thick and very complex. And I said, I'm sorry, why are you focusing on killing things? Like chemotherapy and radiation, just targeting on killing.
You mentioned me on the weekend on this, yeah.
So don't focus on that. Focus on what the body needs to strengthen it and make it well. Okay, that's what I'm trying from. And I got to tell you, it was very, very well received because most of those people were saying, "Man, this is too much information. I can't memorize this because it's." And it was updated over 3 years. 3 years ago, it was totally revamped because the cancer pathogens are changing. The bacteria are changing, becoming more and more antibiotic resistant. Their frequencies are changing. So we can't be to think we can update this all the time. It's just not viable. You've got to get back to what makes the body function, and that goes back to the electromagnetic field. Now, we talked about this so many times before on the show. There's a whole new body of evidence, Dr. Bill, that before the flood, the antediluvial state, there was no rainbow. So you're going to believe God's word, the Bible.
Right.
There was no covenant with man being a rainbow until after the flood, after this. So whatever happened electromagnetically changed the structure of the Earth's atmosphere, changed the water vapor. All of the fountains of the deep were opened up. Water came up from the ground as well as from the heavens themselves. And so something happened in electromagnetic field. Well, guess what, Dr. Bill? If you put a magnetic Gauss field, remember what the definition of light is. Light itself is electromagnetic transverse wave. If you have a high Gauss field, and I'm talking about a 1 million Gauss field that's static, not moving, it's just there and measurable, guess what? You cannot get a rainbow to form in that. It's not going to happen. Because why? Because the water, the light will not reflect the same way through that electromagnetic field. Vis-a-vis, I'm telling you that, in my opinion, before the flood and the covenant with God with the rainbow, there was a very high electromagnetic Gauss field that caused the human bodies to live much longer. All living things live differently, live much longer in that.
Yeah, actually, everything lived longer and bigger. Give an example. I'm going to say something really dramatic here. There's some evidence that mankind is around longer than we think. I know that as Adamic man was here 7,000 years ago, but things like dinosaurs couldn't exist in the current magnetic field of the Earth, could they? With their giant bones. They just couldn't. The magnetic flux field of the Earth, according to the analysis of pre-Adamic man and even other fossils, indicate that the pre-Adamic, that the magnetic field of the Earth, even 7,000 years ago at the time of Adam and Eve in Eden, was 4,000 times stronger. Now, that Adamic field I to generate with my little antenna. I have one in my studio here. And you can generate an Epigenetic field, which is major and minor minerals, and also the one to knock out nagalase. The problem is, you see, as the Earth's field is weakening, we have to recharge it. And that's where the Magi comes in, the Salvito mat, and the photon sound beam, because their weakened magnetic field actually makes their biophotons in our cells weaker. And then all the disease comes in, as you said, like an opportunist. See, you're talking about the white bug thing, right? The key is recharging. That's why you can use a Magi mat without even diagnose and say, I'm going to put this little pad on my lower sacrum and recharge the body. Or I can use a Salvito mat like I have my QRS mat I used before the show to recharge myself on intense for 24 minutes. And I can use, of course, the photon sound beam at the same time and hold the electrodes or touch on different areas of my body. But it recharges your cells. When your cells are recharged, they fix themselves, don't they? They actually readjust the frequencies. They get rid of pathogens. They're able to pump up the ATP and NADH level. So your approach is much more simple and logical. It's like, hey, you got a weak battery here. Let's recharge the battery of the cells of your body, right? Please continue.
Exactly. And that's why, isn't it interesting that our cells are named cells and batteries are also called cells? Because
right.
Why? It works the same way. You have a positive and a negative polarity of magnetism on that.
Right.
And so it really is a simplistic thing, but it's very, very viable. You come into the whole premise of what happens when you increase the magnetic field. What happens if you put a Gauss field of, like, say, 1 million Gauss? First of all, I wanted to know, is there any research out there showing that, let's say that you're in a magnetic resonance field of an MRI, okay, a magnetic resonant imaging machine. If that's putting out huge amounts of magnetism, is that safe for the human, or can it cause some damage internally? So, of course, there's been a body of evidence of that magnetism by itself. Okay, there's a man. I've read studies from Dr. Dean Bonnelly and others that work for NASA, that they established that if you have a mood chamber where there's zero electromagnetic energy, in other words, a compass in a mood chamber will just sit there. It won't point to magnetic north because everything is being blocked. There's absolutely zero magnetism in a mood chamber. And my goodness, the animals went absolutely crazy, sick.
Well, the three things I found that would happen is the animal becomes obese, their genes turn off, and many of them get sick and then die of pathogens.
Exactly.
Simple. And now what's happening to our Earth is that the Earth is dropping its magnetic field really rapidly. Now, it may happen before what's called a pole shift, where the crust moves on the mantle, and it does it every so many 100,000 years. 9 million years ago, Alaska was on the equator. People need to understand, when I took care of John Fiala and Phil Schneider, I was actually taking care of the guys from Bechtel. John Fiala, who actually was in tunneling machines for Bechtel, making the underground cities and dormant magma domes. The crust of the Earth moves periodically, which is why we have these dormant magma domes. They understood it from torsion field gravitonic imaging from space, from U.S. Space Command, which I had a security clearance to learn up the technology. So the fact is, the magnetic field of the Earth, if you don't take it with you, like to a space station or a space vehicle, you die. You don't just get sick, you die. Which is why the Magi machine is a resurrection device. which is why the Salvino mat is a resurrection device. Whereas why the QRS mat, which I have one right now, which is a generation before the Salvino mat, and the photon sound beam, these are cellular resurrection or recharging devices, aren't they?
Well, yes, and here's what I wanted to get at, Dr. Bill. It's really, really important.
Right.
When you see, okay, what happens like a 1 million or a 500,000 Gauss static field with living organisms, especially mammals and mammalian life forms? Well, they don't. As far as I can tell, there was no human trials done, but they, if it doesn't affect a rat or a lab mouse, it's pretty safe to say it's not going to affect a human. They put there was this study that I pulled up. It was amazing. As I read it, went down to actually copy it down. My computer crashed. Believe it or not, I couldn't get back. I'm trying to refine that. There was a study done in Germany in 2008, where they created through Japanese researchers came in with a very powerful neodymium spinning magnetic motor structure that they created a 1 million Gauss static magnetic field. Now that's huge. And they were what's happening, Dr. Bill, right now.
You probably are familiar with that Japanese scientist like Edison, who's actually has more patents than Edison. Remember what's his name? I'm trying to remember his Japanese name, right?
Yeah, he's the one that actually came up with neodymium magnets, mixing.
What's his name again?
I don't have it on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, I've seen. I've read his.
Yeah, I've actually talked about him on the show over the years. And what he did is he actually created, and he actually did a demo for one of my guys, Tim Alexander, of a device that uses these pulse magnetic fields to create a gravitonic field to actually block gravity waves, and creates zero gravity. So, of course, they used that in ancient times they channeled the Vimana of the ancient Indians that used a plasma form of mercury to create a boundary zone, but it's Higgs bosons to create a boundary zone. Just like if you take a bowl and drop it in water, even if it's made of lead, it's going to float. It's going to counteract its weight against the fluid. Well, the same thing with gravitons. And what people have to understand, these particles move through us, and if we don't have the right particle balance and energy, our cells start to turn off. And that's what your devices do. They actually turn your cells back on.
Yeah, let me follow through what I'm trying to say, okay?
Yeah.
The research is going into the next generation of hybrid electric car batteries, okay?
Right.
That's what Toyota is, Chairman Toyota and the R&D of Toyota, this is a little update. The new generation of hybrids will be powering even their big Tundra trucks will all be having this. And it's all in a refined heat-resistant form of neodymium that is actually generating more power, more energy. So you'll see Tundra trucks eventually, maybe in 5 years, getting 40, 50 miles per gallon, much like, the original Prius would do. But I say this because what's happening is, as they're studying this, they need to know, okay, how do we need to shield this from our oxygen? Is it safe to have this high-powered Gauss field?
Exactly. We definitely do. Well, hear more when we come back.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the generation of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NUTRIMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NUTRIMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NUTRIMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing Nutri-Complete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamin minerals. Stay well with NutriMedical every day.
I remember when I lost my mind.
And welcome back, Dr. True. So I love these resurrection technologies. That's what they're called. Epigenetic field therapy. We have the, right up the top, the very first one is the cell veto mat. We've got the Magi, M-A-G-I. What does that stand for? If you put it on the base of the sacrum, it can be charged up. You can have 432 hertz. You can run it 24 to, say, 30 minutes. Charge your body up. I mentioned you meant the comment that sometimes people feel pressure at the back of their head. That's because it's pumping the cerebral spinal fluid. Once you got 30 minutes, you've been pumped up. It's almost like your tire pressure for your CNS fluid and your whole body through your sacral nerve roots has been charged. You have received your charge for the day, haven't you?
Right. And so, yeah, what I'm trying to get to is this: the static magnetic field. That it's not a harmful electromagnetic frequency pulse. The static magnetic field is safe in high quantities. Here's what I reviewed in the study, Dr. Bill.
Right. The static field is fine, but frequency could be bad, right?
Yeah, it's just the electromagnetic field is not going to cause problems. They put guinea pigs and rats and mice in different high-powered gas fields up to 1 million Gauss fields with no side effects. And here's what was amazing: they not only survived, but they actually thrived. And follow this up. You can do your own research on this. A lot of it's been scrubbed from the internet, oddly enough, because why don't they want people to know this? The typical lab mouse, if he lives 3 years, he's an old codger, right?
Right.
Mice have a short lifespan. This study was done in 2008, and they noticed that after they started to look at biological functions of these lab animals, they weren't getting old. 3 or 4 years down the road, other mice of the same batch had long since died. These mice were still living.
These are mice being exposed to the pulse magnetic field. What was the field strength and the frequency?
There wasn't any frequency, Dr. Bill. It was just the Gauss field. It just was an electromagnetic flux field they were involved in.
Okay, so they're sitting on like neodymium magnets, is what you're saying, something like that.
Well, yeah, there was a large field. To create a 1 million Gauss field, you have to have a pretty doggone powerful electromagnet to generate that field. And so this was some of. All this is trade secrets, believe me, because of what's happening in Japan.
Well, this is the reason why Adam and Eve lived long. I mean, there's a sequential drop in the lifespan of humans, and I believe you and I have found it. And God told me, He promised me years ago, before I even got my patent on the Red Deer Velvet, and you were one of the primary people that actually, I think God put you in my pathway to teach me what you learned with Linus Pauling, and you're amazing. What you discovered to me is the fact that the pulse magnetic field determines the life and length of life of an organism. That's why they live 900 years, Adam and Eve. It's the Epigenetic, right?
Let me finish.
Please continue.
Let me tell you what's really exciting, because you want to know what about the Magi. Let me tell you what's exciting. I haven't even gotten there yet. Okay, so we know that the 1 million Gauss field is pretty powerful. Now, how there's a fellow named Dr. Dean Bonley. I've had him on my radio show many times.
Yeah, Dean Bonley. Yeah, I think I've had him on too.
The company's called Magnetico. Dr. Bonley knows all about high pulse electromagnetic fields, or just static fields. Okay,
right.
To create a 2 million Gauss field, he built this machine that cost him $500,000, and he wanted to put it into clinics to test, because there was strong evidence that under a 2 million Gauss field, incredible reversals of damage, even possibility of regrowing lost fingers and limbs could happen. Right. Amazing things happen, none of which were negative. Dr. Bonley got some investors, put out this 2 million, built these machines, put them out, and then immediately got, you talk about some opposition from the powers that be. I won't go there, but Dr. Dean was just beaten down with this.
Right.
So listen very carefully.
So in other words, he had actually discovered what I call the Edenic secret, right? The secret of Eden is the Edenic frequency. Please continue.
Listen very, very carefully. Here I have the Magi, and I was experimenting with it to play. My thoughts were, if I were to hit say I have 8 very powerful neodymium, what's called 52 NG, magnets that put out in a sequence 135,000 Gauss. I've measured them. I put these out in a sequence, and my Gauss meter measures 135 roughly, 135,000. My thoughts were, okay, the Gauss field only penetrates about 3 or 4 inches when applied directly on the north polarity of the body. What if my thoughts were, if we hit it with a carrier radio frequency wave, that it would drive it deeper, maybe as much as a foot into the bone,
into the body, yeah,
which would just make it that much more effective. So we hit it with the radio frequency wave, and you know what happened, Dr. Bill? We had when we hit the 432 in the oscilloscope,
right?
The tri-field magnetometer, where it was pegged at 135,000 Gauss. As we pulsed the 432 hertz, it spiked at 2.2 million Gauss.
Whoa!
Boom!
Hallelujah!
This is what I demonstrated at the meeting to the scientists. Because when I talked to them on the phone about it, they says, "Oh, that's not possible. You need such a powerful electromagnetic field to generate."
Yeah, it was fact. Now you had a field behind it. The neodymium fixed magnets was pulsing and pushing them to a higher power. There's what you're saying. And you had it tuned to 432. By the way, that's the special frequency of all minerals. All minerals are based in 432, right?
Right. And what's amazing is I had these prototype circuit boards made in a lab in Colorado at $300 a pop. I told you about that. They charged $30 for a prototype for the circuit board. Well, guess what? They come and we hooked them up, put the 9-volt battery structure on it, and put them on the magnetometer, and it's now pulsing. It's still at 135,000 Gauss. It's just slightly increasing, maybe to 140. And we're just like, oh man! But look at the original circuit board that I built. It's still pulsing to 2 million. Okay, why?
Right.
What's going on? So I looked. First of all, they didn't set the crystals in the board correctly. This was driven by crystal technology. Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, the crystals in the board. So the crystals you mentioned were going to follow what's called that special frequency you talked about. Please continue.
Yeah, they have to go into this special circuit that will create the 432 hertz. So we saw first of all that they hadn't done the crystals the way we had told them to do it.
Right.
And then we went look at we hooked up their pulse to the oscilloscope, and lo and behold, it was 448. They wasn't anywhere close to 432.
Yeah, they weren't right on 432.
We took it into another electrical engineer today or last Monday, and he revamped it back and put the right circuit in at 432, and so the oscilloscope was right there, 432 to 431, 430. It was like plus 2 centimeters,
right,
in that range, and we put that back into the magnetic Gauss field, and it's 0.2, went from 135,000 to 2 million Gauss. It was working.
Whoa!
We tuned that down below. We went to 428 and up to 439. And it wasn't pulsing. It wasn't hitting that. There's electromagnetic, I call it a magic window area, where it will go in and hit that 2 million Gauss field.
Wow.
Holy mackerel. So that's why the MAGI stands for the magnetic acoustic Gauss. I'm coining the term. In fact, I'm going to get it patented.
Magnetic acoustic Gauss. That's cool. So in other words, now I want to mention an interesting side comment. You know the magic flute that was playing in the harp played by David before he became king, and he played to King Saul? He was tuned to 432. You know that too, right? You know that the musicians, even in the up in the mountains, here in Colorado and New Mexico and so on, the natives actually use music that's tuned to 432. If you look at the flutes in ancient India, they're tuned to 432. It's tuned to the frequency of DNA and minerals, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it also goes into that golden mean ratio, which is the Fibonacci ratio.
Right.
I'm also incorporating the Fibonacci now into the pads, because I'm having the sequence go into what's called a full Nautilus turn, which is roughly a 6 structure. And what's happening with that is even greater Gauss. It's amazing how that flux field starts.
So you're gonna modify it even a little bit more. I'm waiting to get my MAGI device. I use right now the QRS mat and the photon sound beam violet ray machine. It's amazing. And of course I use my sonic life to do specific frequencies, but you got to charge the body up. When you charge the body up, it'll often right itself. For example, disease states are abnormal quantum biocircuits. But when you charge the body up, it just gets rid of it, just rebalances itself, doesn't it? It's like a low battery.
Yeah.
Right?
Our electrical engineer that helped us, get the circuit board, there's a terminology that makes it our property, that nobody can try and replicate it. Suddenly it's clearly intellectual property theft, and
right.
And that as he told me, as he verified these faulty circuit boards. His name is Sean. Sean looked at me and he says,
we cover so much information today, Dr. True. I did have you scheduled tomorrow. I think want to have you back, and I'm going to talk more about my nutriments too. Because you see, every herb on Earth has a resonant frequency. Every herb is also tuned to these frequencies that are amplified by the resonant field of the Earth. People talk about, listen to Coast to Coast and talk about an herbologist. Well, why there's so many cures out there is because the Earth's resonant field has intelligence. And the intelligence of herbs, like curcumin, for example, we have a curcumin product coming in from India. Right now, ours is 700% more absorbed. It's amazing anti-inflammatory called Cell Defense Plus. Each herb has a resonant frequency. And when you take the right nutraceuticals and you recharge your body, you get dramatic interaction. You need signal plus substance to equal heal. So if you have the right, for example, we brought in your monoatomic minerals and we added liposomes. That's our monoatomic minerals. added to our, let's say, albion chelated minerals and activated nutraceuticals, because the body often has gene SNPs that can't convert. So we have things like BioLVR that'll jump the gene SNP for 5-methylfolate reductase or superfolate. But when you take the right nutraceuticals and you recharge the body heals. It's like the field of dreams. So, for example, I had my Red Deer Velvet DR. It's the first product in the world that returns you to the fetal state. Your placenta generates all the biomolecules. But without the charge, for example, if you look at the biophoton charge on the cell of a newborn, let's say it's 200. Somebody that's, say, 60, their charge might be 60. And they're on their way down. If it drops to 50, 40, 30, they're going to die. So what you do is you say, hey, like these mice, recharge the body and the animals don't die. You don't die. You extend your life. You start healing. You start regenerating your joints. You regenerate your brain, your liver, your kidneys. So if you take, for example, our peptides, you take our Red Deer Velvet, you take the Magi device and the Celvito mat and the photon sound beam, you're literally back like in the Garden of Eden. You're now at the time of Adam and Eve, where you now have the energetic field around you and you have the right food and molecules to rebuild your body. Does that make sense?
That's exactly right. So
yeah, amazing. So let's continue this dialogue tomorrow. I think we need to do another hour. You covered so much stuff today, and I have so many questions. So we'll do that hour number 2 tomorrow. We'll talk about this as well. Dr. Truott, you're amazing. Now, when do you think you'll have my Magi device to me? Because I'm waiting for your little tweaking. When do you think that'll be here?
Well, I hope to. I'm getting the right parts, and I want to make it the right one. So I would hope in the next 2 weeks. We're just going to get these circuit boards.
Sooner better. I'm craving mine. My body's saying, "Where's my Magi?" It's funny. It's like this: the gifts given to Jesus. The Magi. Repeat what the Magi stand for: magnetic, acoustic, generator. Right?
Acoustic Gauss infusion.
Gauss. Accuser.
Gotta go. We'll talk later.
Yeah. Amazing discussion. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. We'll continue with Dr. Truott. We've got to talk about these more because there's so much. I have lots to learn yet. And he's a great teacher. Fantastic. The devices are available. The Magi on NutriMedical.com, Celvito Mat, Photon Sound Beam.